Hello, my name's John Tibbs, or in the Society for Creative Anachronism, SCA, I am known as Sir Finn O'Shannon. This is my Greek persona stuff. This class is going to be about Aspis and Dory, or for most people, Spear and Shield. I use a bought off the next two chuck. One of these is basically one of the water barrel tops. It's plastic. Unfortunately, most of the dished aluminum shields that you see a lot of the Greek guys fight with in melees are not there's still a few out there, but they're not around as much, and they get beat up. No one's making them. I know some guys down in Tony Podolsky. I just butchered his last name. I know he had a place down in Australia that I think made a few for his household, but I don't think they're making those anymore. And I know another armorer that said he was thinking of making a die or whatever to be able to press aluminum, but I haven't heard anything back since last time we talked a year or so ago, and I haven't seen anything out in the wild. So as far as I'm guessing that really didn't go through. This shield is 37.5 inches wide. I would probably prefer it to be 36, but honestly, even the old dished aluminum ones that are out there are 39. And all the ones I've had, I've actually cut in the edge and then reinforced the edge to make them down to 36. So this is pretty much, halfway in between, and it works fine. My melee spear I use, and I need to make a new one to be able to take swings with it. But for just spear work is a wood grained spear haft that I bought off of Munitions Grade. It is 7.5 feet long. It's one reason why I made it with a spear shaft instead of a rattan shaft is so I can make it a little bit longer, because technically they believe for hoplites in the classical era, the spears would have been 7 to 9 feet long. I've tried this with a 9 foot. That's okay. I'll try a 7.5. Thank you very much. This is the one I'm going to make into a tourney spear. It's 6 feet. Reason why I'm going with a 6 foot one instead of a spear shaft is, the other reason why I like the spear shaft, less wiggle. Once you get like a rattan 7 plus, especially if be able to hold with one hand well, wiggles a lot. You get a lot of flex, especially going for shots, and the tip just wants to move around a lot. With a spear shaft, I know where this tip is going, where I want it to be going. But I've got an idea for this year once everything hopefully clears up, of doing some tourneys where I'm fighting this and this. Do I expect to get to do well in these tourneys? Probably not. No, who knows? Maybe if I get good enough, I'll birth a whole new style in the SCA. Yeah, good luck with that. But I find it very intriguing to try this. Now, this form of fighting would be more, you're talking Dark Age, 1100 BC down to Archaic Age, so 700 to 500, where the fighting was a little bit more open and you weren't dealing with the hoplites. You start getting the hoplites in Archaic Age. They really came into their own in the Classical Age with the Persian Wars and such. But early Archaic into Dark Age Greece, which is basically from 1100 to 700 BC,
Fighting would have been a little bit more open. You still had your chariots. If you go off the Iliad, which possibly was written by Homer around somewhere in the 700 BC age, he's going off of more of the fighting either around that time or before that time, and you're dealing with chariots. You're dealing with more heroic fighting. That's why I want to kind of base this tourney style off of. So what I'm thinking of, I've got about 5 of these, of maybe taking one of these and actually cutting out a couple of cutout holes and make a Boeotian style, and then fight this Boeotian style shield with a 6-foot spear, at least 6 foot for now. I might end up changing this into a 5. Now, Archaic Age, they would have been going in with 2 throwing spears and a thrusting spear plus sword. I'll just be doing with the thrusting spear. So, but that's the tourney side of this that I'm going to be messing with this year, hopefully. But let's get more into the purpose of this class, and I'll get into a little bit of this style at the end of this. But let's get more into the melee. So let me put this over here. Okay, so we have our 7.5 foot and our 37.5-inch Aspis. I've got my class taped in here. I'm smart. I actually wrote this up for once, instead of like last time where I was kind of going off memory and just throwing stuff out. Alright, so you've got basically 2 different styles with the spear. You've got underarm, so where your shots are going from here, here, here. So this style is more, actually I'll get back, that's in another section. Or you go overarm, so more like this, so you're doing this. So you're coming with your shots to here. How each style is valid. I've found. I've been fighting off and on this for probably 4 years. I've got 2 Pennsics under my belt and a bunch of different battles. I find both styles have their merits. Both styles have different purposes. Can be fought in all different styles of melees between open, static, and broken. Some work better than others, but then you're also talking about having a transition from, an underarm to an overarm with gauntlets. With a glove, it's much easier. With gauntlets, it's a little bit harder. Now, granted, I've got grutters, so it's actually not as hard. For those of you that might have, especially just if they're doing with spear work, if you've got the finger gauntlets, especially finger gauntlets that don't grind, though I would probably still prefer, actually I'm not sure about the rules of, can you fight with this, or just a regular spear with ungrounding finger gauntlets. I think those still require maybe a hand shield, which a hand shield would get in the way of this transfer. So, in the grounding ones, my problem with grounding finger gauntlets is it ends up splaying my fingers. My fingers like being here, they don't like being out. And I'm going to bring this actually in. Instead of this, the grounding gauntlets, you end up doing more of this. Now maybe the bifurcating gauntlets, I think, are what they're called, where basically you're doing this, might work a little better because then you can get these 2 fingers on or these 2 fingers back. So that might actually work halfway decent, where you got a little bit of splay in between your fingers, but not as much. I don't know, maybe I'll have to try to find me a pair of bifurcating gauntlets and try that out. But let's get back on course here. Let's see. Alright, so those are the things I'm going to go over in the class. So now let's just get get into stuff. Okay, so what I've learned, yeah, both styles are valid. Both play great in This style really plays really nice in static and broken fields because you're able to sit here and be able to poke or poke, things like that. Open field is where I'm having my hardest time getting better at this. I'm learning. At first, I do a lot of overhand, just because it's less tiring. But I have found a lot with open fields is if you're trying to stab someone, like when they're coming in for the charge, and you're coming up and you're trying to get that open, or trying to get that face, it's a little bit it's harder for one to get the shot to stick because they're moving, it slides, things like that. But I'll get more into that when I get into the different types of battles. So let's see. One of the other things I've learned is talk with the people you're going to be fighting with, which I'll get into later. This is just kind of a general overview of what this class is going to be going over. So, what the class is going to go over is different styles: overhand and overarm, underarm. I always end up saying overhand, underhand, but it's overarm, underarm. The different types of battles it plays in, and working with your friends, especially the people that you're fighting with normally, of how to deal with this in their way, if they're here or they're behind you, instead of what normal people bring out, if they're bringing out a war shield, is 24 inches, which covers me nicely, but it really doesn't get in the way of anybody else. This will get in the way. So it's working with your friends on how to work with this. Okay, so first thing, overarm, underarm. So overarm, which is this style. So you're going mostly this. I have found this has more power than underarm. I have a much easier time sticking a good hard shot on someone than with underarm because everything's going downhill and it just sticks better. It feels to me, and I got more of my body behind the shot because it's all coming from here, where underarm is, if you go overhead with it, it's still, your body's not really in the shot. You're just doing this with it. Or you're coming around, or you're going here. It's still mostly arm. You can still get a good shot. I've killed plenty of people with it. But I find it's easier with the overarm. Let's see. But with that more power, you also have less range. Because if you try to do this from out here, I can't do that with, this is about the extent of, so a little over, right around 6 foot, right around the edge of this. But that's as far as I'm going. From a standstill is maybe probably about a 7 foot range with it, unless I step with the shot. Where overhand, I can actually step back more. So go from here. You end up getting a little bit more range with it, and you get a little bit more diversity with it. Overhand also, I find better defense and quicker reaction off the defense. So either behind, I tend to do this a lot. So I'll put my hand here when I'm basically kind of resting. So, boom, block, someone hits, boom, bam, right back at him. Back up a little bit, take the shot there, block, bam. Where with underarm, if you're at rest, you're here. If you're, this is more tiring. Your defense is not as good because you're like this. So, you know, block. Okay, now you got to do this, or block, underarm. It takes a lot more time. So the overhand is a lot faster as far as reaction off of blocks and off reaction shots. So boom, or boom, boom. One of my problems with the overhand is to take a longer shot at, you know, if you're wanting to take a step with the shot, you know, around 7 foot, 8 foot range. Here, let me take this actually. So this is the 6 foot spear there. So I'm right at 6 foot right now. So I'm in overhand range. That would be a good shot on the Pell. Let me change the camera so you can actually see both. Okay, that's a little better. Now you can actually see a little bit better. So I kill myself on my spear. Okay, so I'm at 6 foot. I'm here. So there I'm stopped. So I'm probably stopped a good 2 feet away from my target. So to get that 6 foot shot, I have to open this up a little bit to get the shot, which leaves you slightly open for this guy. Overhand, which I will show in the, underarm, which I'll show here in a minute. I don't have to move this. I can make the shot over the top to 6 foot. Boom. Defense is still there. That's still going in, and that's still hitting the face. Let's see. Overarm takes less energy. I can stand in a line like this for a long time. Be able to throw out shots, quick little shots here and there. You know, 6 foot range. Boom. 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 And to be able to throw off the shots and not be using a lot of energy. Underarm, a lot more energy. Yeah, I could sit here. Yeah, you can sit here. You're not using, you know, arms at rest, all that kind of stuff. But longer delay to get a shot out. Plus, you're going to have to choke down to get a longer shot. To go over top is a longer shot. So they have a better reaction. But it also takes more energy to get this up and back down. Where this, here at rest, boom. One of the things, especially with this, underarm, it's a little bit harder to do. But overarm, I find I have a lot more success double tapping. So, you hear across, boom, boom. So throwing that second shot. They get the first shot, they might block it, and then they're back to looking while that second shot's coming in. I get a lot more kills when I remember to double shot than when I'm just taking single shots here and there. Also, you know, take that first shot, boom, take that half step, bam, the guy behind him. I'm finding I get a few kills here and there with that because the guys in the second rank aren't paying attention and they're not used to, because most spear guys, they're fighting from down here because this is the nice relaxed area. They're not fighting this with both hands on their spear and then being able to come down like that. You'll see guys change like that every once in a while. They'll go from here to here and fire. but not as much. Where with the overarm, it's just a lot easier. Because you're already doing that down shot. You just take that half a step, and heck, plant it on top of their shield and fire. All right. I find with overarm, a lot better tip control. So, sitting here, I've got, this doesn't get, I mean, it still gets knocked around, but not as badly. Or not as bad. With underarm, I don't know if it's because it's going against the grain of how my hand is. So it's harder for me to control this. I get this knocked around a lot more when I'm going underarm than with this. This, it's like, okay, boom, and I can get it back on track a whole lot faster. Let's see. Overarm, also, one of the downsides of overarm, variety of shots. That's about all you got. I mean, yeah, you can go face, shoulder, hips. I mean, you've got those, but all your shots are coming from here. Underarm, but you can't do this, you can't do this. Everything's coming this. Underarm, a lot more variety, which I'll get into on the underarm portion. So that's the overarm part. And yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth between the two a little bit here, but I'm not trying to stay on the other one as much until I get to that part, which will be now. So, underarm. Opposite of over. Underarm, I feel, has less power. Mostly because it's mostly coming from your arm. You're getting less of your body into the shot. Now, with grip tape, it helps. You can still get you can still get a good, powerful shot. But it's also coming up instead of down like the overarm. But you can choke back a little bit more with the